The moment Ethan Caldwell realized his blind date was not coming, the sun was already high, flooding the café with a warm, honest light that made waiting feel painfully exposed. He sat alone at a small table by the window, 2 untouched cups of coffee growing cold, his phone silent, his hopes slowly sinking with every passing minute. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a sign that life might finally soften after years of quiet loneliness, but instead it felt like yet another reminder that he was easy to forget. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected blessings, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Everyday Kindness. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Ethan had not always been alone, but loss had a way of hollowing him out piece by piece. After losing his parents within a single year, his world had shrunk to work, sleep, and the slow passing of days that looked exactly the same. Friends tried to help, nudging him back toward life, and this blind date had been their idea. So he stayed longer than dignity allowed, telling himself patience was a virtue, even as embarrassment burned quietly in his chest. When he finally stood up to leave, carrying the weight of disappointment like a familiar coat, he noticed a young woman at the counter struggling with a restless little boy. The café was bright and busy, sunlight bouncing off polished floors, but the woman looked tired in a way that sleep could not fix. Her name, Ethan would later learn, was Marisol Reyes. She moved with careful urgency, balancing a tray, a bag, and the attention of her child all at once. The boy, Leo, could not have been older than 5, his small hands fidgeting, his eyes wide and curious, taking in the world with a mix of wonder and anxiety. When Leo nearly tipped over a chair, Ethan reacted without thinking, steadying it before it fell. That simple moment became the quiet intersection where 3 lives shifted. Ethan offered help carrying their things, something he rarely did for anyone anymore. Marisol hesitated, worn down by a world that often judged single mothers harshly, but exhaustion won over pride. As they stepped outside together into the clear daytime air, the city felt softer somehow. The sun warmed the sidewalks, traffic hummed in the distance, and for the first time that morning, Ethan felt present rather than invisible. They sat on a nearby bench, sharing the extra coffee Ethan had paid for but never needed. No grand explanations were exchanged, just small, human truths lingering between them. Marisol's life had not been easy. She worked long hours, raised Leo alone, and carried the quiet grief of a partner who had left before learning how to stay. She was strong because she had no other choice, but strength had become heavy. Ethan listened more than he spoke, recognizing the same loneliness he carried, shaped differently but just as deep. Leo, sensing safety, leaned closer to Ethan, asking innocent questions about birds, cars, and why some people look sad even when the sun is shining. As the hours passed, something subtle but powerful unfolded. Ethan had arrived that morning feeling unwanted, yet here he was, needed in the smallest but most meaningful ways. Holding a door open. Making a child laugh. Offering presents without expectation. The missed blind date faded into the background, replaced by a quiet understanding that life sometimes withholds what we ask for to give us what we need. Ethan felt a warmth settle in his chest, not romantic or dramatic, but steady and real. Over the following weeks, daytime meetings turned into shared routines. Park benches, library visits, simple lunches under open skies. Ethan found himself rearranging his life, not out of obligation, but because he wanted to be there. Marisol learned to trust again, slowly, carefully, watching how Ethan showed up consistently, how Leo's laughter grew louder and more confident around him. There were still challenges, moments of fear and doubt, but they faced them together, grounded in patience and kindness. Ethan realized that love had not arrived in the shape he expected. It did not come dressed up for a blind date or announced by a perfect plan. It arrived as responsibility, compassion, and shared sunlight. God, in his quiet way, had answered Ethan's unspoken prayer not by sending a romantic partner alone, but by sending a family in need of the very love he had been saving. Just before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and share what part of this story moved you the most, or a moment in your life when something unexpected changed everything. In the end, Ethan no longer remembered the sting of being stood up. What stayed with him was the image of Leo running toward him in the park, the trust in Marisol's eyes, and the deep peace of knowing that sometimes rejection is simply redirection. If this story touched your heart, inspired hope, or reminded you that kindness still matters, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps spread stories that remind us we are never truly forgotten, even when a table is left empty in the sun.